There are many paths to a good life, but there are 5 personality traits that have been scientifically proven to lead to a better life. So think of what those 5 personality traits would be. You can jot them down, think of them in your mind, but try to think what they would be. Dr. Nick joins us now with more. And I asked people to do that because it surprised me. I didn't get them all.
Yeah. Well, what I think is going to really surprise you is if I were to say to you that I'm not sure that those are the top 5. But that's okay. That's, you know, we'll go with the research.
The first they said was enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
I get that.
I get that. I get that. By the way, the root of that is to be filled with God.
Is it really?
I think it's Latin or Greek, but it's to be filled with God.
I had no
idea. To be enthusiastic, enthusiastica. To be filled with God. And we all get that.
Oh, it's so much fun to be, if you're at work and someone's enthusiastic about a project, or your children are enthusiastic about school, and when they're not, it's very deflating.
And what about just the gift of being enthusiastic in life? That it's not necessarily I'm enthusiastic because I'm going to Egypt for a vacation. I wake up enthusiastic. I go do after everything I do enthusiastically.
Yes.
That's the real gratitude that makes life worth living.
I was born with some enthusiasm.
You were.
And I cannot take any credit for it.
You were.
It's not a struggle.
So do I. We just get excited, which is another word. So that's one of them.
Okay, but I want to pull that thread just a little bit more. So for people who weren't just born with that enthusiasm, how can they be more enthusiastic?
Probably the best way would be to find things that they really do get excited about.
Okay.
The passion, the bliss. You know, be it music or sports or, you know, something that gets them enthused, that fills them. And then hopefully have people around to say, see, you get enthusiastic about that. Could you be possibly enthusiastic about this? And so you start transferring.
I get it.
Okay? Could you be enthusiastic about making your bed?
Well,
how can we make this enthusiastic?
Right.
It can be created.
Okay. Well, the second personality trait they mentioned was low withdrawal.
Low withdrawal is just another way, basically, of saying we're not easily discouraged. It's the opposite of being discouraged. It's saying that just because I failed, I'm not quitting.
Sure.
We're not withdrawing from it. We're in fact going deeper into the pool.
I got it.
I may not be swimming great, but I'm going deeper. I'm not pulling out.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
That makes sense to me too.
That makes sense to me.
Not the best word to describe it, perhaps.
I don't like that either, because I don't like that low withdrawal. I like that high engagement.
Sure, high engagement,
you know,
persistence.
Persistence. Staying with it, stick with it. Dedication. Yeah.
We could do a bunch.
So those are 2.
Those are 2. Number 3.
Industriousness. Taking on projects. Finishing projects, doing the best we can, but not getting caught up in perfection. That's where the problem can be. You know, we can push all these things over the limit.
Yeah, they call them the getter-doners.
The getter-doners,
The getter-doners tend to be happier.
Beavers.
The
Get things done. I know a number of people who are high in that. What was the 4th one? I know one was compassion, but we're going to hold that.
Compassion was 4.
Was 4? Okay.
And they put compassion in the list of 5 best personality traits. Why? What do you think?
Compassion is probably one of the greatest attitudes that anyone could have in life.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It connects us to people. It connects us with people who are suffering. It connects us to pain in a way that provides far more than a Band-Aid. To be compassionate is to be extended towards someone who is different from, who we may not understand. See, I think compassion, Whitney, when I see what's going on with the anti-Semitism and some of the white hatred and even some of the black hatred towards whites that I hear sometimes, and I do, it's like, where is the compassion? Where is the love? Where's the charity? Where's the trying to understand what might be driving that person's behavior? I hope to always have it.
Yes.
I hope to always have it.
And if someone doesn't have much compassion, and maybe it's just about one subject or another, perhaps if they sit down with someone who is what they dislike or whatever to try to understand their perspective, that could bridge some understanding, right?
Yes, I definitely do. But I also think it's working through one's own nutrition of bitterness and harboring resentment. See, what are the anti-compassions? Anti-compassions are bitterness and resentment, and hatred, because, or, well, at least I'm not that low.
Yes, right.
At least I've got a trailer. That kind of, at least I'm not black, or I'm not a Jew. It's the anti-compassion.
I get
that's when we start understanding what compassion is, when we hear what it's not. It's like, I don't want to be bitter.
Right.
I don't want to carry resentment or harbor hatred or
stereotype
or become cynical. All women are, or all men are, or all therapists are, or all attorneys are. That's the lack of compassion.
Okay, good. And then the fifth, I don't know how you're doing on your list, but the fifth trait for a better life, they said, was intellectual curiosity.
Yes, that's right. How could I forget that? But see, I think it's far more than just intellectual. I'll take that, but it's cultural curiosity.
People curiosity.
It's people curiosity. It's 95-year-old curiosity. It's 16-year-old, because they're seeing the world in a way that's different than you and I.
Right.
Intellectual curiosity is being open and interested in, tell me what you're like, or tell me that's why traveling is such a great thing to do, Whitney. Sure. Get out of the classroom. When people ask questions and are curious, we don't need to take that necessarily that those questions are coming from a frame of reference of disregard. We don't ask questions because we think it's weird. We ask questions because we're interested.
But
don't you think?
I do think, but let me also pose this. It's how we ask the question.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Because I can say, oh, well, why did you do that? Or I can say, why did you do that?
You're right. Curiosity is interest, but when it's a put-down question, you're right. Or when it's tonal, that's sarcastic, it's not intellectual curiosity.
So what are 5 personality traits not on the list? What would you add to that?
The only one that I would add, and I think we've already kind of framed it in compassion, is where is love? Oh. Where is just basic love? People always say to me, why do we suffer? And I always say, I don't know why we suffer. But I do know that that's the wrong question. Why is it that love always seems to win out?
Love is the answer. And
sometimes I think maybe we forget that love really is the answer. And that is the only thing that will last eternally, is to love. So we just keep loving. To love is to be interested. It's all those 5 maybe
it's all
in
those
one.
things, isn't it? It's
maybe
to embrace.
It's all 5 in one.
Yeah.
Maybe
Really encompasses all of those things.
It is.
We're gonna leave it here with love.
And to be enthusiastic.
That's right. More Weekends with Whitney after this.